Good morning, everyone. My name is Audrey. I am stitchywitch42 here on FlossTube and over on Instagram. This is my channel about cross stitch, life, the universe, and everything. And there's going to be some life and everything in this video. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of Halloween. So I thought I would share with you some of the things that I've done the past couple of weeks and a whole bunch of previous Halloween finishes. But first I'm going to talk about some other stuff because it's what I do. So in the last couple of weeks, first of all, I got invited over to Magret's for a stitching date in December with a couple of other ladies, and she asked if everybody would be interested in doing a Secret Santa. And everyone said, sure, why not? One evening, I'm happily stitching in my chair, and all of a sudden, I went into full-on panic mode. What did I do? I have 3 of my 24 bats in 2024 pieces that I want to get finished before the end of the year, because otherwise it wouldn't be 24 bats in 2024. I want to get my Alphonse Mucha finished, and I've agreed to a Secret Santa. So I have to find a pattern, I have to stitch a pattern, I have to fully finish a pattern. What did I do? So I went upstairs and I pulled out my boxes of patterns, and I'm going through and I'm thinking to myself, it needs to be something small. It needs to be, well, I'm stitchywitch42. If it's Halloween, they should expect that from me, right? So I start looking at some Halloween things. And it's like, oh, I like that, but I want it for myself. And then I looked at some fall pieces and it was like, oh, I like that, but I want it for myself. And then I thought, okay, obviously me giving away Halloween or fall pieces isn't going to work. I need to broaden my scope. So I was going through my patterns and I found one that I had purchased 5 or 6 years ago at Hobby Lobby. It was actually a full kit and it had 3 designs in it. And I had previously stitched one of them for another exchange around that time. But I was looking at them and I thought, this would be perfect. The colors, the design, everything about it would be perfect. So I started stitching it. And of course I didn't stitch it with the stuff that came in the kit, the fabric that came in the kit. I chose my own fabric, and yeah, I know it's supposed to be a Secret Santa, but I had to post a couple of pictures, sneak peeks if you will, where you couldn't tell what the design is at all over on Instagram. And of course, because it's a Secret Santa, I'm not going to share it here. But I've got it stitched. It's gorgeous. I might actually stitch it again for myself because I like it that much. But I've got it stitched. It needs to be finished. I'm kind of panicking because I'm not sure where I put it. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. So then, that was September 21st that I went into panic mode and started doing this stitch. And I got the piece done in just a couple of days. Then I went up for the stitch group last Wednesday. I took my 3 #24bat projects in 2024 with me, and I worked on, I think I touched a couple of them while I was up there. I also bought some fabric. I don't know where the fabric is. My house kind of exploded yesterday. Today is the 1st of October, or the 1st of Halloween, and my son was down, and I have stuff all over the living room. Yeah. I bought some fabric while I was up there. I'll share it in my next video. And then I came home and I had to get ready for Mark's and my trip. We went to the coast this past weekend. So I'm going to be including 2 videos within this video. The first one is pictures taken along the way. We left Friday morning and we were going to head over to the coast and travel down Highway 101, which is along the Oregon coast. We were packed, we were ready to go. We got out in the Jeep and the wipers wouldn't start and it was raining out. Mark was not a happy camper. He tried and he tried and he tried and they just would not come on, so he had to put it back in the shop and it took him about 2 hours to rewire a different switch to work the wipers, and we were able to actually start our trip. It was raining here. We got clear weather between here and the coast. We got over to Lincoln City and it was foggy, and you'll see that in one of the pictures. It was so foggy you couldn't really see the buildings in Lincoln City, and Lincoln City is a big town. We headed down 101. There's some pictures of the Pacific Ocean. We made it to Gold Beach, which is where we stayed the first night. Lovely hotel, nice room, nice view of a bay. And then the next morning we got up and we were headed down to Brookings and Chrissy Field. Chrissy Field is the southwest corner of the state of Oregon. Mark had gotten a picture with him and Philip when they were at the southeast corner on their trip, the 9 days the house was clean. So he wants to get all 4 corners, and Chrissy Field was the southwest corner. Couldn't actually get out onto the beach there. That's okay. While we were traveling there, like I said, it was foggy. It was early morning foggy. And one of the photos in there you'll see, we traveled over Thomas Creek Bridge, the highest bridge in Oregon, 345 feet above sea level. Early morning, so it's dark out. There's no other traffic. The fog was so dense you couldn't see either side of the bridge, and you couldn't see the far end of the bridge. Just a bit eerie. We made it to Chrissy Field. We went down a little ways into California because we wanted to connect with Highway 199 to come back up through the Redwoods. So there'll be photos of the Jeep in the Redwoods. And then we traveled up to where we were going to stay Saturday night, which is Wolf Creek. And I will talk more about that at the end of the video because there's a second video that's all about Wolf Creek. While we were traveling to Wolf Creek, we heard a sound in the Jeep that we couldn't identify what it was. It sounded like somebody threw an empty pop can in the back of the Jeep and hit the side of it. And we commented on that. We couldn't figure out what it was. Well, we made it to Wolf Creek. We parked, we went in, we got our room, we spent the night. And the next morning we found out what that sound was. The starter solenoid in the Willys Jeep threw a bolt. That was the sound we heard. The Jeep wouldn't start Sunday morning. So we had to... Wolf Creek is an Oregon state park. There are volunteers that work there, and fortunately one of the volunteers agreed to take Mark 8 miles into town to a parts store where he could buy some bolts to get the solenoid reconnected. But after he did that, the Jeep still wouldn't start. Thankfully, it's a stick shift, which means we could push start it. I could push start it. On the way down on the trip, Mark stopped at a weigh station to see how much the Jeep weighed compared to how much it weighed when Mark and Philip went on their trip, and it weighed at 4,050 pounds, 500 pounds less than what Mark and Philip had it packed full. So our plan was, there was this little slope in front of the inn, and we started pushing the Jeep. Mark hopped in. I kept pushing the Jeep, and it was enough to engage the engine when he turned the key. On our trip home, we only stopped the engine one more time, and that was when we had to get gas. And fortunately, there were 2 attendants there. Mark slipped them a couple of bucks, and they push-started us, and we didn't stop the Jeep again. Between Sutherland, Oregon, and when we got home. And Mark said, the first rule of Willys Adventures is make it home. So I'm going to include a little 3-minute video here that are pictures of this part of our trip. And then when I come back, I'm going to share a bunch of previous Halloween finishes. If you don't want to watch the video, fast forward 3 minutes. But I hope you do. Anyway, hold on. Did you see the tub? It's full. I'm just going to start at the top. I'm going to work my way down through it. If I know the patterns or the fabric, I will tell you. If I don't tell you, I don't know. So, you will remember these. These are Lola Crow. I stitched them last year. There are 5 of them. This one, this one, that one, this one, and this one. These were the pieces that I asked Helen D if she would finish for me, and she did a fantastic job of finishing them. I think in my last video I may have asked the question, are you a process stitcher or a product stitcher? The next one I'm going to show you is my very first ornament finish. Excuse me. You know, everybody talks about having floss tube nose. I have floss tube belches. I have to be the odd one. Anyway, this is my first ornament finish that I made, and there's so much about it that's wrong, but I made it. It's cute, it's adorable, and it works. So I stitched this piece about 7 years ago. I know it was a free pattern. What the name of it is, I have no clue. I know I stitched it 1/1. I braided the cord that went around it. This is a piece my sister stitched for me years ago. This is not cross stitch, this is needlepoint. This was a free pattern. Again, have no idea what the name of it is, but I love it and it suits me. I don't know if this was a free pattern. I'm thinking that it was. It's a tombstone that's for Myra Maines. Myra Maines. Here is another needlepoint piece that my sister did for me. Okay, the next one in the box is the big one. This is the Halloween mantle scarf that I made 5 or 6 years ago. It's got long pendants on it. Each pendant has a glass bead on it. There's no way that I'm going to be able to show you the whole thing at once. This thing is huge and it's heavy. I know that the patterns I used to stitch the pieces that are on here were from the Cricut collection. Oops. So, there's those two. And pretty much I can't see what I'm showing you, so I'm just going to run it across the screen and hope that, keeping my hands on the same location, you can see it. But this piece, I absolutely love it. Yes, I said I'm not a quilter. I'm not a quilter. I came up with the pattern for this mantle scarf. My son actually helped me lay it out on the table and cut the pieces out for me because there's no place big enough in my house to lay out fabric. So he helped me to do that. When I got this piece finished, I took it into the store I was working at the time. My assistant store director is a Halloween freak like me. And he goes, "You made that for me, right?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, I'll buy it from you." And I looked at him and I said, "Okay." I said, "This offer is good for 1 hour. If you give me $1,000, I'll sell it to you. Cash." And he looked at me and goes, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm serious." Needless to say, he did not take me up on my offer. Okay. This was a kit that I bought up at Acorns and Threads. It came with the little tin and everything. No idea what the name is. I have a couple of little mill hills here. Halloween. and a moon. Okay. I know I should know what this is, but I don't know what it is. This was a little banner that I stitched, or I made it into a banner. Where the bats are, we're supposed to be spiders. We know how I feel about spiders. So I just switched them up, but I think that this is so cute. So, so cute. I'm going to run out of place really fast to stack things. This is a Buttercup design. Halloween cat. I actually stitched this twice, and I think, oh, I actually dated this one in 2011. I messed up on it and added a couple extra stitches in the width of it. I was making it for a friend, so I sent the correct one to the friend, and I kept the wider one for myself. My next piece is called Witch's Night Out. I do not remember the designer. My sister had bought this kit for me. The fabric, which is Crystal Kermit, and the top and bottom pieces to hold it. This was stitched 1/1 on 28 count. And I absolutely hated stitching this thing, but I love it so much. So this is what the whole thing looks like. And let me bring that in for you. I had so many problems stitching that piece. It's just ridiculous. Excuse me while I turn my phone off. Here you go. No more bothering. This pin pillow is this. Might be a Lizzie Kate. Maybe. Possibly. All right. Oh. Cour-e Batacour Halloween in Quilt. This was a piece that I sent up to Jolynn at Acorns and Threads for her to finish for me. I absolutely loved stitching this one. And yes, I stitched a house. I realized going through some of my pieces that there have been houses in them. Do I enjoy stitching houses? No, not really. But it is what it is. Okay. Next we have a needlepoint piece that I made. This is a Halloween tree. Mark turned the spool for me so that it would stand up and put the dowel in there for me. I think I may have taken it to Jolynn to finish. I don't remember. But I love this piece. Possibly Plum Street. Don't remember what it's called. But I played with this one. I used a variegated floss in the steam coming up from the cauldron to get it to look that way. And the back. Okay, pillows can go on the floor because there's a lot of pillows. This was from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2020, because I dated it, which is rare for me to do. We wish you a happy Halloween. And the fabric on the back is glow-in-the-dark skulls. Alrighty, then there were the 4 blue pillows. They were all stitched on a quarter of the same blue fabric. It's a 28 count. I know that. I know this one was a free pattern. Where it's from, I have no idea. Eek. No idea. Another house. And I think of the 4 of them, this one was my favorite. This was a pattern that was an exclusive kit that you could buy. And a woman actually sent me the pattern and the variegated floss when she was done with it. And I know that came from Tasmania, to me. So this one is one of my favorite pieces. Okay. That's not cross stitch. That's not cross stitch. What do we got here? Several years ago, Helen D and I did an exchange for Halloween. This is the one that she sent to me. So this is Trick or Treat. I know that it's in, if you have the DVDs or the CDs with the Halloween Just Cross Stitch magazines, the pattern is in there. Maybe 2018. Maybe-ish. Okay, I have a little biscornu here. It's also from a Just Cross Stitch. I think I did it last year, and it's got the bats on it. All right, this pillow, Michelle, Maine Moose Mom, sent me the pattern. I started stitching it, and the more I stitched it, the more I realized that I didn't like the whole design, but I loved the witch that was on it. So I just cut out a piece of the fabric that I liked, and I turned it into this pillow. And you can see a little bit of a spider there and a little bit of a, it says spider thread. I think she's gorgeous. All right, my next one. This is one of my favorite pieces that I finished myself. The first time I saw this pattern, it was on Kathy Haberman's video. She showed it finished like this, and I fell in love with it. I contacted her, I asked her what the pattern was and who finished it, and she told me it's Wicked Witch by Lottie Da. I contacted the lady who did the finishing for Kathy and asked her if she would do the same for me, and she said no. I was sad. So I asked her if I could copy her, and she said, by all means, go ahead. So again, my son actually helped me figure out how to do part of this, but this is my version of the Wicked Witch from Lottie Da on a boot. Her leg, her boot. So this was me playing because I had no idea how to do this. I know that I stitched it on 30 count Havana. When I was trying to figure out the size for the boot, Philip told me to draw out my pattern for the boot, and then using our photocopier to adjust the size compared to the width of the board that I put it on, and that worked really well. So this is my first attempt at doing anything like this, and I think it turned out pretty good. Stitching the back together, there were definitely some issues, but the fact that I got it put together, I was just so tickled with it. All right. The next one is my favorite finish from Jolynn, who is a soft finisher at Acorns and Threads. This was Plum Street Samplers Ghoul. And I did not stitch all of the pattern, but when I sent it up to her, I asked her if she could make it look like a tombstone. And this is fabulous. It's dimensional. It is just fabulous. And everything on here was hand stitched. This is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. More pillows. Another freebie out of a Halloween cross stitch was this. I don't think it was last year. It might have been the year before. And I used some of the fabric. No, this is just plain pumpkin fabric because there's a pumpkin coach there. I remember when I stitched this one, I wanted to turn the witch into Granny. Oh my gosh. The Terry Prachett witches. Oh, I can't think of her name. But I put 3 pins in her hat so that, because she always had pins in her hat. That's going to bug me now that I can't remember the character's name. This was a pattern out of a Just Cross Stitch magazine. This was stitched on some fabric that Lisa Smith dyed. And again, there's a little house on there, but I think it's cute. Okay, we're going to get into some framed pieces here. Also from a Just Cross Stitch Halloween, although I know you can buy the pattern now. I know it's Primitive Hair. It's the Spell Store. Love that one. This one is Heinzit Designs Wicked Witch. This is my first one, the first piece that I ever stitched on linen. Oh, YouTube, if you could take this as my screenshot, I would appreciate it. No clue what the pattern is. It's one of my cauldrons because I love a good cauldron. I love the design in this, and I loved using the Krynic for the feet. I just think that this is absolutely adorable. This piece is also from a Just Cross Stitch Halloween. I think it's like 2013. I did not stitch the border around this piece, and I asked Janine at Acorns and Threads to help me pick out a fabric for it, And she picked out this fabulous purple, which I just think makes it pop. But this is my witch hat. Just gorgeous. And of course there's supposed to be a big old spider hanging from the hat, and yeah, I didn't do it. Did not do it. Okay, that can go down there. A couple more pillows, because they get stuffed in everywhere. This was the piece that I stole last year at the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit when we did the Smalls Exchange, because how adorable is that? And this is the one where I got smart and thought, I'm going to keep the tag on the back of it. If the shoe fits by Primitive Cottage, stitched by Dale Askley, Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2023. I am going to start doing this on all the pieces that I get that's stitched by somebody else, just so that I can remember. And I love the fabric she used on the back. Another piece from a Just Cross Stitch Halloween is October 31st. This is one of the first ones that I did with a beaded finish. And Helen has a tutorial on how to do this beaded finish. And I've done it a number of times, so if you do Mill Hill kits, save your beads, because you can use them to finish your pieces. Alright, this is Mill Hill and Jim Shore. What it's called, I don't remember, but it's got the 3 crows, and there is lots and lots. Oops, I lost a knobby. I'll have to find the knob. There is lots and lots of beads in here. This is absolutely gorgeous. And again, I took it up to Jolynn and let her do the finishing because it involves sewing. All right. Okay, another little cauldron I did. I found this frame at Goodwill, but I thought it worked perfectly for this little piece. No idea what the pattern is. This one is another needlepoint piece that I stitched. And everything there, it's full coverage. All the background and everything is stitched on this. Definitely a learning process on how to do needlepoint. Okay. This one is part of a pattern. I feel like I should know who the pattern is from, but I'm drawing a blank. I mounted this one on a piece of painted canvas with some cheesecloth around it because I wanted it to look like an old sign. Witch on Duty is what it's called. I finished it in July of 2018 because I actually wrote it on the back. But who the designer is, I don't know. Is this a Barbara Anna? Possibly. Again, I did this one as a flat mount and I finished it on a piece of canvas. And on this canvas, I painted some of the design. The dots mimic the curve of the border. The leaf is this one here. There's a bat up there that's similar to that bat. This is similar to that. So there's that piece. Oh my goodness. This is still about 1/3 of the way full, people, this tub. The drawn thread, maybe, possibly. Absolutely love this one. Love the bats. That's what's making me think it's the drawn thread, because these are the same type of bats in my current, one of my current hashtag 24 bats in 22. I'm going to be so happy when I can stop saying that. All right. I am literally boxing myself in around my feet here. This is part of a pattern. It was in a just cross stitch. I know Michelle Bendy actually sent me the pattern for it, and I only did half of it. I made it into, I think this was my first mounted flat fold. Halloween Town, I'm not sure. But I only did half of it because the other side there was a big old house and I didn't want to do the house. And again, the fabric that I used on the back are those glow-in-the-dark skulls. Alright. This one. Primitive Hair, maybe. Boo Tree. Again, this is a mounted flat fold. Absolutely love this one. And there's the fabric that I used on the back. I actually initialed this one. Didn't date it. Why would I do that? Okay. This one was again in a just cross stitch magazine. Don't remember what it's called. This is a laser cut frame. I've got to figure out a way to make it stand because, yeah. And it's supposed to have, I stitched it and I called it Victorina after Vicky Stitchin' Buttons. She sent me a needle minder that has Rest in Peace on it, and she wrote 2019 Rest in Peace Victorina, and that's supposed to be hot glued right there, so I need to put that back on there. So I'll set that aside to be fixed. Alright, this is the Witchy Stitcher Little Shop of Horrors because it's Audrey too. And again, I put it on one of those laser cut frames. I have no idea. I have no idea. If somebody knows, tell me. But I have no idea. Ooh. I know this piece was a discontinued pattern. It was being passed around at First Thursdays at Acorns and Threads several years ago. I have no clue. Oh, I put a card on the back of it. The Primitive Needle, Halloween Garden. Darlene stitched it, passed it on to Michelle Bendy, who passed it on to me, and I passed it on to Stephanie. So I stitched it in 2019. This was a free pattern that I stitched, I don't know when. This one, I tea stained it after I finished it to make it look the way it does. Scared the snot out of me to do that, but I think it turned out pretty cool. And I changed it, the name on the tombstone, to Salem and put 1692. It was, McKenna was doing a stitch along to commemorate the witches that were killed in 1692, so I changed it so that it looked like the family name was Salem, but that's what I did with this piece. Not cross stitch. Okay. Darling and Whimsy Designs, Apothecary. And I obviously need to fix the back because it just fell off. So we'll set that there. And there is this one. Okay. This is Witchy Woman Apothecary. I finished it in 2018. It was also another one that I mounted on a canvas. I painted the canvas green, and then there's a spray paint that you can get that's called webbing, and sprayed it all over that, and then I Mod Podged this fabric on here because I thought it went well with an apothecary sign. So there's that one. Oh, also not cross stitch. I'm running out of places to put things. Okay. The rest of the stuff that's in the bag is not cross stitch. So I'm going to pause here, work my way out of my mess here, and then I'm going to come back and show you some other stuff. So hold on. That took a moment or two to put everything back into the tub, and I left out the pieces that I need to do some repair work on. So I'm going to be including a video at the end of our stay at Wolf Creek Inn in Wolf Creek, Oregon. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about it before I show you some more cross stitch. Wolf Creek Inn was, well, it was originally called Wolf Creek Tavern. It was a stagecoach stop built in Wolf Creek in 1883, I think. You could get a room and dinner for 75 cents a night. This building has some of the original rooms upstairs in the front half of the building. The rooms were so small that they basically had a single bed, a little table, and a chair. That was it. No closet, no wardrobe, no bathroom. In 1925, they added on a 2-story addition in the back, and there are several rooms back there. It was purchased in the 1970s by Oregon State Parks and Recreation, and they are who currently own it and maintain it. They have a restaurant there that is open all day long from 8:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. They have fantastic food. There is a women's parlor in there, a gift shop. The gift shop was originally the bar for Wolf's Creek Tavern back in the 1880s. And then they have the dining area. Mark made plans for this trip and asked me if I would be interested in spending the night there. And I said, well, yes. I've been there one time before, but we just went in and looked around. We didn't actually see the whole place. You can now go in and you can walk around and look at the whole property, except for going in the guest rooms, because it's a state park. He did not know when he booked the rooms that they would be all decked out for Halloween. That was a very happy surprise for me. And when I posted some pictures of it on Instagram, someone asked me if we stayed in the room that was featured to have paranormal activity on Ghost Adventures. I have no idea what room that was. We were in room 6. I know that there was a family staying there in room 8, which is one of the rooms that's supposed to have paranormal activity. They had a couple of boys with them, and one of them had some ghost hunting equipment with him, and he was excited because it was lighting up. So he may have experienced a paranormal activity. I don't know. I sadly did not. But anyway, I am going to include a video here showing how they had Wolf Creek all decorated for Halloween, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you 3 more pieces of cross stitch. Again, it's about a 3-minute video. I hope you'll stick around and watch it because it was really cool. And I'll be right back. Okay, I took cross-stitching with me on our weekend because I'm a cross-stitcher. It's what we do, right? I cannot stitch in the Jeep. There is literally no room to do anything in the Jeep other than be a passenger. My arm is pressed up against the door. I have to sit as close to the inside console as I can so that I actually have room for my arm. There's no dashboard. The front of the Jeep is flat. So there's no cross-stitching in there. But I still took my cross-stitch. And I have my 3 hashtag 24 bats in 2024 in this bag to take with me. I was actually quite pleased that I took this bag with me because when I was stitching in the women's parlor at Wolf Creek, this fit quite well with the decor in the room. And I had with me my coffin case sewing kit. This was sent to me from Stacy. I know that she purchased this on Amazon, so if you're interested in buying one of these, you can. I added this on the front of it. But inside, let's see if I can show it without knocking everything down. It has these little tabs here for holding my scissors in. I added the piece of ribbon down here to catch the bottom of it. This is where you would put the jewelry in it. I have a bulb pin with some charms on it. I have a push pin here. I have a little bat that she stitched for me. And a little coffin case needle holder. The scissor fob was made from Sarah at Acorns and Threads, and she gave that to me. And I don't remember who sent Wednesday to me. It's also a needle minder. But these 2 pieces looked quite lovely sitting on the couch in the haunted woman's parlor at Wolf Creek Inn. So let me show you my progress on my 3 hashtag 24 bats in 2024. Okay. So, the first piece that I've been stitching on is the drawn thread. Little bits of Halloween, and I'm doing the vertical version. I was stitching on this up at Acorns and Threads when I went up for the Wednesday stitch group. It's on, the fabric is called Bayou, and I think it's Atomic Ranch, but I'm not sure. So that is where I am at on that. I've got H-A-L-L and the O. There is a spider that I need to get a button for to put on there. And that's my progress on this one. Okay, pull my needle through to the back. The next piece that I am stitching on is hands-on design, put on the hat. This is being stitched on Bestitch Me Gray Magic. And that is my progress on this one. I don't think this one is going to take much longer to finish. I don't think any of them are going to take longer to finish. So the one that I was stitching on while I was at Wolf Creek was Sue Hillis Designs Dark Shadows. It's this one here, Trick or Treat. And while I was waiting for Mark to work on the starter solenoid, I actually got this finished. So when I had it finished, I took a picture of it with it on the piano so that the skeletons could give me their approval. And that is my finish of Trick or Treat by Sue Hillis Designs. Love this piece. I love all of them on here, and this is the second one of these that I've stitched. The other one was stitched for an exchange a few years back. So, that's everything in my video today. There are still more Halloween finishes, previous finishes, upstairs. If you're really interested and want another video showing some more previous Halloween videos, previous Halloween finishes. Words are so hard when you're recording a video, I tell you. I could do that, but I would have to do it upstairs because I'm not going to try to bring them all downstairs. My legs and my hips just would scream. So there's that. I have not done anything on my Alphonse Mucha. I need to because it's the first of Halloween and that means I have 3 months left. But I need to decorate the inside of my house today and yeah. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that maybe you enjoyed it enough to like and subscribe. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I do appreciate you. If you ever get the chance to visit Wolf Creek Inn in Wolf Creek, Oregon, I highly recommend it. Like I said, they have a restaurant there that is open from 8:30 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. Everything we ate there was fantastic. Mark and I were talking last night and he made the comment, he goes, you know, meaning him, he doesn't like planning a trip to the same place because, you know, there's so many places to explore. But he made the comment that he would really like to go back and check them out, and if they go all out for Halloween, maybe they go all out for Christmas. I don't know. It's a state park. You don't have to book a room there to go check them out. Go check them out. Anyway, until we meet again, my friends, live long and stitch on. Bye-bye.